If you've heard about artificial intelligence or AI and you're a little bit spooked about it, or maybe you just think this is something that's going to pass you by, well then fear not, because you don't need to be a tech genius to use it. In this video, I'll show you in very simple terms how AI can work for you and real examples you can try today. I'm also going to share with you a little secret, so stick around. AI is everywhere these days, and you're most probably already using it without even being aware of it. Whether you're an older person like me or a curious beginner, AI can make life easier, and it can be a great planning tool. It can even assist with everyday tasks, and if nothing else, it can be a hell of a lot of fun. So what is AI? Well, look, without getting overly technical, because most of it's over my head as well, the first thing to say, it's no magic. But by definition, AI is a field of science that creates machines that can learn, can act and reason, that act in ways that typically require human intelligence. More simply put, AI is a system to mimic human-like intelligence. Amongst other things, AI can solve problems, recognise patterns and make predictions. It's typically made up of large language models, image generators, robots, etc. But in really simple terms, you could actually think of it like upgrading from just Googling things. Like we always have done traditionally, AI just goes more in depth and provides more detail. Okay, so let's start with some examples you're probably familiar with and may already be using already. Voice assistants. For example, Alexa, what's the temperature in Sydney today?
At the moment in Sydney, Australia, it's 26 degrees Celsius. Tonight, you can expect a low of 21 degrees.
If you've got a mobile phone, if you've got an iPhone, the voice applicator is Siri. Hey Siri, what's the temperature in London today?
The high temperature today in London, United Kingdom will be 9 degrees Celsius, and the low will be 4 degrees Celsius.
If you don't have an iPhone, there's other tools like Google Assistants. So let's move over to language learning models. And again, I'm going to keep this very simple and just focus on two common ones you may have already heard of and be familiar with. For the purpose of the exercise, I am going to use the desktop versions, but of course they are available on apps and you get them easily and download them from the App Store on your phone. We're going to start with Gemini, which is a Google product. The key with this, of course, is to provide as much information and detail as possible. So we're just going to have a little bit of a play and do some examples of how it can work for you. Just to do a quick sideline before we get stuck in, I actually just Googled something recently in Google itself, and have a look here. It gave me the actual answer in AI, together with all of the normal sort of Google responses that you get. So again, you're probably typically, or if you're using Google Chrome, you've got it already on your browser. So let's start with a really simple question. I'm going to say, how would you best describe Polish food? And if you make a spelling mistake, don't worry about it too much because it's actually clever enough to actually understand what it is you're saying. So you put your question in, out comes your answer, as you can see there. And now, as I said, you can start to have a conversation with it. So what is typically eaten more in summer? Let's see what that says. There you go, cold soups, fresh vegetables, etc. So you can get the idea where you can just start building and have a conversation with it. Now, Gemini is a free version. There is a paid version, as you can see at the top there, Gemini Advanced. There, that's the paid version. But if you're on, say, Microsoft and Bing, they also have a very similar tool called Copilot. If you have a look down the bottom of the screen, you can actually see that there. So let's just keep going a little bit further with Gemini. I'm going to show you an example here where I actually used it to research something. And what it was I was actually in the process of upgrading my computer. So I was looking at the old laptop that I had compared to the one that I have now, and I asked it to give me a detailed comparison. So that was the old model there. And it scrolled down there and told me all the things like 8 gig of RAM and that sort of stuff. This was the model I was looking to buy. It gave me a pretty good bullet point type description. And then you go right down to the bottom here and then it gives you the summary. So here's another example here where you look over here at your recent history. I did one here where I was just, again, this is just a mock-up thing that I did, but I looked at potentially getting some information. I want to do a trip to London. So I said here, look, I'm going to London for 2-3 days. Can you provide me suggestions of things to do? It's put together for me a basic 2-day itinerary for each of the days. So I then asked it further, how do tickets for the tube work, the London Underground? So there it says there, straightforward, cash payment methods, Oyster card, etc., etc. Then I took it a step further and said, can you recommend some good traditional pubs to visit in London? So then it's giving me, again, link to Google Maps, website addresses, everything. So it really is a one-stop tool for all these sort of things that you want to find out. So there you go as a starting point. That gives you a good idea how AI can work. So let's now move over to ChatGPT, which is similar to Gemini, but it's really good for things like content creation and deeper type research. Okay, so we're now in ChatGPT, and what we're going to do is use this to do a little bit more advanced sort of type research. And I want to write an email, for example, to my boss. I'm not sure how to word that email, so we can actually help with this sort of stuff and almost be an author. So I've actually reworded this, but I said, could you write for me a suggested email to my bosses? I'm tending my resignation due to retiring, but I'm leaving the company on good terms. So we put that in there. Takes a second or two to think, and it'll come up now with some suggestions on what that email can look like. As it says there, professional and courteous, dear boss's name, blah, blah, blah. Now what you can do is use that as a basis, tweak it for how you see fit. So let's take this a step further. Remember the itinerary we did in London that we got Gemini to put together for us? What I'm going to do this time is I've actually got a document about Poland tourism and travel. So I'm actually going to upload it. Then I'm going to ask ChatGPT to actually create for me a suggested itinerary. I've already written out the question. Now what I'm going to do here is hit here, upload from computer. I've got a document saved on my hard drive, on my desktop rather, Poland travel guide. So it's adding the PDF document, as you can see there. Okay, so the document's uploaded. I'm going to go down here and hit the, as you can see, it's thinking. So basically now what it's done, it's scanned the document, and if we scroll down here, it can now put together an itinerary for you. So it's pretty cool. You can actually, maybe if you've got a contract or something like that you want to get it to summarise. The secret again is the more information you want to pull out of it is all conditioned upon the more information that you put into it. Okay, so we're now going to have a bit of fun with it and do a thing called image generation. Now I've actually pre-written this question, so I'll just paste it in there, and it says, create for me an image of a tiger dancing dressed in a Bollywood outfit. Let's see what it's going to show. So it's thinking. So it's almost there. So now for the big reveal. So there we go. Have a look at that. As it says there, I've now reached my creation limit because I've actually been putting too many things in it. But you get the idea of how you can use this. You can do similar things also in Gemini and the other AI tools. As you can see, none of that was particularly difficult, and you're really only limited by your imagination. There's a ton of free stuff out there, different types of AI tools, so just get in there and have a go. There's a couple of other little examples that both ChatGPT and AI can do. One is analyse images. So for example, if you had a picture of, say, a type of species of fish, or maybe a bird or a snake or something like that, you can use the AI to actually hover over that and scan the picture, and it'll tell you what species of animal it is. A really cool feature of ChatGPT 4 I heard of just the other day is where you can actually have ChatGPT open with your camera on, open your fridge door, and what it will do is it'll actually scan the contents of your fridge and come up with meal recommendations and write some recipes out for you. Crazy stuff. There's also AI authors who are actually using ChatGPT and other similar type of AI tools to write books. They're not authors themselves. They just feed all the information into it, and basically they can provide a Kindle sort of type book, and they're doing it as a side hustle and making money out of it. Again, amazing stuff. AI safety. With all of that in mind, there are a couple of things you need to look out for and be careful of when using AI. AI is super useful, but it isn't always 100% accurate, so just challenge it and sometimes check it. Be cautious with your personal information, specifically around things around financial. Watch out for scams pretending to be AI assistants. But look, just take a common sense approach and you should be fine. Now for that little secret I told you about earlier. Remember how I said ChatGPT was great for content ideas? Well, guess what? I actually used it to help me put this video together. So here's the first question I asked it, stating that I wanted to make a video about AI for middle-aged or senior people. What could you suggest as some ideas? So it's gone through some ideas here for the title. As you can see, I like that one, or at least part of that one is the title for the video. And then what it does now is expand on all of those titles that it's created. Then I've said I like the 50 plus crowd idea. I'd like to do some screen examples of my blah, 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 like I did showing you Gemini and ChatGPT. What do you think of that? So it says, yep, good idea for the title. Here's some other things that you can do within your video to demonstrate. I've even then, could you create a suggested script for the video? Again, I haven't copied this word for word, but it's given me a bit of an idea of how to get the video rolling, and I've added my own little bits and pieces into it, as you can tell. But again, it's a fantastic guide for a bit of direction, a bit of structure to get you on your way for this sort of stuff if you're not sure. And just scrolling down a little bit further, it says here, the script keeps engaging, blah, blah, blah. It says, thanks again, would you recommend for the thumbnail? what could that look like? Now, the thumbnail is the actual piece that YouTube puts in front of you as like the title to the video. So I've asked what that could look like, and it's come up with, again, a number of different suggestions, like a written description. And if you go a bit further, it says here, would you like me to generate a sample thumbnail rather, with those ideas? So I've said, yes, please. And there you go. Hey presto, look what it's created. I haven't actually used that exactly as it is, but I've used a little bit as a bit of an idea to put together the thumbnail for the video. So guys, as you can see, AI isn't there just for tech experts, it's there for all of us, and it's definitely here to stay. So whether you want to simplify tasks, learn something new, or just want to have some fun, AI can most definitely assist. Just get in there and start playing around with it. You'll be amazed what it can actually do. So what AI tool are you most excited about? Leave it in the thoughts and comments, and maybe we could make it the topic of a future video. And I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and we've dispelled and debunked some of the myths around AI. It's less daunting and intimidating for you now. And as I said, just get in there and have a play. If you found the video helpful today, guys, I'd really love it if you can give it a thumbs up. Most of all, hit the subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date with all of the future videos and tips to make life that little bit easier, especially if you're over 50. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.